What's up, guys? Welcome back to the talk show. This is going to be your astrological monthly overview for the month of September 2024. This is going to be another big month, guys. We have like three major, huge transits happening right as the beginning of the month starts. And as we progress through this month, we will be going through the eclipse season. So expect major changes to happen, or at least you probably have been aware that small changes have been hinting at you over the last couple months, actually. And we're going to be going through the eclipse season for all of September and most of October, so just buckle up, guys, and get ready for this major change. Thank you all for being here. If you're new here, I'm Cody. I'm an astrological, I'm an astrology guy. I do these astrological videos and stuff like that. So thank you for being here. And yeah, so we're going to be talking about, all the monthly, transits happening in September. Like I said, there's like a huge amount of transits happening this month. At least for the month of like September, it'll be more forward movement that we, really haven't been in the past couple months. Last month, August, and a little bit of in July, we've had like a lot of slowdowns. We've been going through a Mercury retrograde that's been bringing a lot of delays in our plans and stuff like that. We've been having to go back over certain things to review, revise, and maybe double check or triple check on certain things that this Mercury retrograde has been really, shifting our, the energy of where we've been in. But at least for the most part in September, we get that forward movement. So we like that. But the only issue is, I guess I wouldn't really say issue, but there's going to be a lot of changes happening. Like I said, the eclipse season is approaching. So that's going to bring a lot of changes, and we can usually feel these changes from these eclipses like basically a month or maybe almost a couple months prior to the actual eclipse day. So even though, we haven't gone to the eclipse season just yet, we can feel, or we have been feeling a lot more anxious that, things are about to change, or just, you can just feel it in the air. I don't know if that's just me or just astrologers. What do you guys think? Maybe, tell me how you guys have been feeling. What does the change have been for you guys? But yeah, so we're going to be going through all of the transits happening this month, and then towards the end of the video, we'll be going through all 12 horoscopes, going through each sign, talking about all the important aspects of where these transits will be happening in your chart. So stick around for that. If you want to just jump to the horoscopes, you can do that as well. But this intro and the overview will give you like a more of an information, just like of what's gonna be happening, throughout the month, and you'll understand a little bit more if you follow this and watch the beginning of this video. So yes, let's just kind of talk about what's been going on. This past month in August has been pretty challenging for, myself included, and I'm sure many of you out there. So it's because of that Mercury retrograde. It's been, really slowing down on a lot of things, bringing a lot of mishaps, misinformation, miscommunications, nothing making sense, all that kind of stuff. We also had a bunch of squares, aspects happening between Mars and Saturn, and then Jupiter and Saturn, and just this Mercury retrograde squaring Uranus and stuff like that. So it's been very chaotic. So I really hope all of you have been kind of taking it easy. I think I said that in the last video, it's going to be a frustrating month, and it was. And that's just the reality of it. And I also mentioned in the video that we are kind of in this period of time where we're in this snowball effect. I mentioned that in the last video, and I mentioned that August is kind of the beginning of it. September is gonna be the movement moving a little bit faster because of these eclipse seasons and stuff like that, and we have this forward movement which will increase our speed a little bit. But there's a lot of basically there's more stuff that we have to kind of like, you know, finalize with the major transits, like the outer planets and stuff like that. There's a lot of like just last minute things and stuff like that. So you'll understand what I'm talking about once we get into this. So I believe that's all I kind of want to just mention. Before we start, like always, I just want to advertise the merch. I'm going to be showing you the website, how to get there in a second, but just trying to like show you the merch that I'm wearing. Code of Astrology hat. I'm advertising the Libra merch. This is one of my Libra shirts. I'll stand up so you can see this. It has like a little Venus and Libra symbol on the scales. I also have some other merch right here. My hat actually just fell on the, yeah, we'll just kind of put this over here for now. But that was a Uranus and Taurus hat. But I also am advertising, I got some other merch you can find here. I got some pillowcases, backpacks, coffee mugs, water bottles. So if you want to find the website, this is, you can follow me on Instagram. This is basically where I advertise most of my stuff. This is like all my advertisements and stuff like that. But Codifer or Codiferversion or whatever you want to search for, and then you go to this first link right here. You click that, and this one will take you to the merch. So you click that. I've already got it on there. So just to kind of give you a little where we're at. This is the website. I just added all new Virgo merch. This is the new Virgo design, so I'll kind of show that real quick. It's looking pretty cool. Bunch of cool looking Virgo merch. We got shirts, hoodies, kids clothing, tank tops, you know, tote bags, bunch of stuff, guys. Long sleeves, mouse pads, pillowcases, backpacks, stuff like that. Some joggers. We also have beanies, shorts, bundle deals and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. But yeah, this is kind of like the merch. We have zodiac signs, all 12 signs. I have a bunch on there. Universal signs just has like, you know, tarot cards, designs, is the Year of the Dragon and stuff like that. This Code of Astrology stuff. And we also have planetary designs. I just released a Jupiter and Gemini merch a couple months ago. There's other, you know, good handful of planets in certain signs that you can look at. These are little previews of what we have on the website, some other designs and stuff like that, and some other previews that you can check out. I make a design every month for every season. This is just kind of just what I do. I have many pages of, you know, merch and stuff like that. Over, I believe, 30 pages of just a bunch of merch and stuff like that. So this is a bunch of stuff on here, guys. If you're interested in doing this, checking it out, I will be having I believe a 20% off sale from August 28th through September 2nd. That's going to be my Labor Day sale and my third back to school sale, if you're interested in that. And there's also a 15% off sale plus free shipping in like the middle of September, and I think like another 20% off towards the end of September. So if you want to check those out, those are my promotions for September. But just some stuff, you know, there's Leo merch, Cancer merch, a bunch of crazy stuff, guys. It's really cool. I've been having a lot of blasts advertising this and just talking about it. There's many slides that you can check out. You know, there's a bunch of stuff. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the merch and the website and some of the products that we have on here. I've been loving it, and I really hope I think a lot of other people have been you know, loving it too. You know, it's all the feedback that I've been getting from this has been amazing. It's been making me feel good, and it just, you know, I love, you know, just basically hearing what other people think about it, and everybody's loving it. So I really hope you're enjoying it. I hope you can check it out. I'll just show you this last slide and then we'll get started. So we have, you know, all this stuff about Taurus merch, Aries merch and stuff like that. Every seasonal season, like zodiac season, you know, merch, whatever, it's on here. I do it every month, so it's a consistent thing that I've been doing for the past couple years now. So that's about that. So, and if you want to like search for anything, you go up to the search bar and just, you know, search for anything if you are interested in something of your choosing. So that is that, but that's my Instagram if you want to follow me on Instagram. So yeah. All right. So let's get started with talking about the astrology for September. All right, guys. So major month. Another major month. You know, this is going to be a very speedy kind of an uncomfortable type of vibe. You'll understand why I say that as we go on. So basically the first day, actually, September 1st, there's two major highlights happening. I'll talk about the Uranus stationing retrograde. That's not as a big deal as the second one, but where's Uranus on this? Right here. So there's a little RX by Uranus right here. This is as far as Uranus is getting in the sign of Taurus, 27 degrees. And then it'll start to move back. So what is Uranus retrograde? Just like every other retrograde just means going back over, certain things that, need improvement. You might have to review certain things, adjust to new things and stuff like that. So what is Uranus about? Uranus is about the unexpected. It's a very chaotic kind of type of energy, but it's not really like, chaotic, like, oh, it's frustrating. It's just kind of like Uranus's energy just wants us to break free and, from normal thing, like old cycles and just the norm of what everybody does and stuff like that. It's that electrifying innovation. It's new, it's exciting, it's very shock and awe. It can be very nervous because it kind of rules our nervous systems. So they can bring, it can make us very anxious and nervous and stuff like that. But it's all about, unexpectedness, change, beyond, the normal stuff. So, whatever, over this period for Uranus retrograde, it's just going to be shaking up, routines that, we've been dealing with since Uranus has been direct. Now this is the time to, change certain things in order to basically improve it, like I said. And then once Uranus moves forward again, I think in January or February, around that time, then we can, improve these changes and implement them into making them more real and be more innovative and stuff like that. The second thing happening on this day, which is probably the most important thing probably of the whole year, maybe I would say, is this guy right here. Pluto is moving back into the sign of Capricorn for the final time, guys. Okay, so this is going to be about 2.5 months of Pluto going back into the sign of Capricorn to finish off, any old things that have been that we have been dealing with since 2008. That is when Pluto entered the sign of Capricorn. So think of how much has changed in your daily life, in the public eye, when it comes to corporations, governments, control, power struggles, and stuff like that. And if you know where the sign of Capricorn rules in your chart, this is that finalization of what's being transformed in the way, whatever's been, basically changed for you in this area of life for you. So Pluto's been in the sign of Aquarius for most of this year, and it's moving back into the sign of Capricorn just for one little time period. It's going to just be at 29 degrees. It's not going to go any further than 29 degrees. This is this is finalizing all these old things that we've been dealing with over the past 16 years, guys. So that's a huge deal. Be ready for that. It's kind of interesting to have Pluto going back into the sign of Capricorn during this election, time. So I don't know what's going to be going on, but Pluto is all about, uprooting these things that are not seen. It's in the backdrop. It's like I said, it's uprooting all this stuff. So this is kind of that uprooting, finalization of what else is down there that we, need to basically dig out from what's hidden. And like I said, Capricorn is kind of ruling governments, corporations, control, structures, responsibilities, and stuff like that. So it's going to be a very interesting 2.5 month period as Pluto goes back into this sign and stuff like that, and as we enter that, election time. So that is going to be very heightening the energy as we end the year for the most part. Pluto will end up going back into the sign of Aquarius to stay there for the next 20 years, starting in the end of November. So be ready for all the changes and all the stuff to come out during that time, because that is going to be a very interesting period of time. So yeah, Pluto and Capricorn, guys, this is the final time that Pluto is going to be entering, going through the sign of Capricorn. Because Pluto takes about, I think, like 248, 49, 250 years to complete a whole cycle. And what I should say about this, the United States has been going through their Pluto return, which is basically, the same spot that Pluto was when they signed the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that. So that's a very important time, and we've been going through a lot of changes in the, we've seen it through the news, the media, and stuff like that, especially over the past 4 years, So, and that's kind of like the time of Pluto coming back to that same spot. So this is kind of like that finalization for the U.S. of, all this, all these changes and transformations that we've been going through, all this fear-based power struggles and stuff like that. A lot of stuff, guys. So, but yeah, Pluto will eventually go back into the sign of Aquarius in November, and we will talk about that. Then let's move on. The next thing happening is this new moon in Virgo. New moons, times of setting new intentions, planting seeds, so to say, if you want to, say that, if you're into spirituality and stuff like that, all the manifestation and stuff like that. But new moon in Virgo, I mean, the moon in Virgo and the sun's in Virgo too. So yeah, we're in Virgo season. This is the time to just kind of get more organized, be grounded, be more practical, focus on what's needed. This is kind of like the harvest time. So having this new moon in Virgo is basically, planting those seeds of, what we are going to be harvesting over the next moon cycle. And this is basically going to be the start, so to say start, but we are going to get closer and closer to the eclipse season after this new moon in Virgo, because there's going to be a full moon partial eclipse in Pisces later on, but we'll get to that. So set those intentions, new moon in Virgo, practical, analytical, detail-oriented, stuff like that. Next thing happening is on the same day, Mars is going to be squaring Neptune. So we'll kind of go to, Neptune's at 29 degrees, so it's actually into like the next day. But okay, so Mars squaring Neptune. This is going to be, Mars is in Gemini still, about to, finish its transit through there. Mars Gemini likes to do two different things, likes to focus on two different things, wants to do this, wants to do that. But when it comes to a challenging angle with the planet Neptune, Neptune's going to bring a lot of fogginess. It's going to not be so clear on what direction we need to take. It's going to give us a challenge. And it's going to we're going to have to really focus on our intuitive instincts to really understand, what direction we need to take, or what we actually need to focus on in order to move forward. We're gonna have not so much clarity at this time. A lot of people might feel lost and not really knowing what to do. That's just the energy of this transit as Mars is squaring Neptune. But focus on your intuition and your intuitive instincts. Listen to that. That's going to be more important than just feeling so lost and foggy in this, kind of whatever direction you are trying to do. Following that, Venus is going over the South Node in Libra. So yeah, that's basically bringing up a lot more past themes. Venus is about relationships, the way we love, attract things, how we're relating. She's dignified in her home sign of Libra, so it's feeling pretty nice, for the most part. But, excuse me. But having Venus going over the South Node, like I said, it's just bringing up past situations, past things, very karmic, faded energies kind of going over at this time, because the North and South Node are very fateful, very karmic. So whatever, even if it's in the North Node, this is a very futuristic kind of not futuristic, but just something that's going to be coming soon. The South Node is about, the past situations of bringing old things back up to the surface and stuff like that. So what do we need to face when it comes to the way we're relating, the way we're expressing love and stuff like that? That's kind of how I would, present that. So even if you're dealing with an old relationship, or you're trying to get over certain people that, you know, you're relating to or dealing with, this is going to really just set the bar by saying, you know what, let's just kind of make things, you know, fair. Let's, you know, be cool with everything that has happened in our past, and let's just kind of let it go, because that's another thing that the South Node has us doing, is either us feeling comfortable and sticking to past situations, or you can actually be like, okay, I really need to let this go in order for me to transform this energy so I can heal from any of this karmic stuff. So kind of think about those stuff in your personal lives. And then we get the other major transit happening, which happens the following day. Let's get to the actual minute or the hour. Is Mars coming into the sign of Cancer. All right, guys. Like I said, there's like, this is like the third, there's Uranus going retrograde at the beginning of the month, Pluto going back into Capricorn is the second thing, and then Mars going into Cancer. These like three big things, boom, one after another, starting the month of September. Mars, why is Mars going into Cancer so important? I'll tell you why. So, over the next 7 to 8 months, maybe even 9 months, but we'll just stick with around 8 months. This is why I kind of said the whole snowball effect is going to start speeding up at this time, especially in September. In August, you know, yes, we were dealing with Mars, you know, going in through Gemini, you know, connecting with Jupiter, making explosive things, you know, ramping up our energies. And then Mars squares Saturn, and it was like, boom, hit a wall, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of just, you know, went through Gemini after that. Now it's entering the sign of Cancer. This is the sign of Mars's fall. So that means like a detriment sign. Mars doesn't do as well in the sign of Cancer. So that's one note about that. 2, you know, Mars in Cancer is going to eventually station, or I should say eventually do its retrograde in the sign of Cancer. It'll enter Leo in like November or somewhere around November, December, and then it'll station retrograde. And then it'll go back into the sign of Cancer and do its whole thing. So for the most part, Mars is going to be in this area of life for us for over the next 8 months, guys. Okay, so just prepare yourself. Mars is the planet of, you know, drive, ambition, aggressiveness, you know, what we're going after. It's the direction we want to hit and stuff like that. It's our short-term goals. It's our sexual attractions and stuff like that, where we want to head. But Mars in Cancer can present much like a more passive-aggressive type of energy. And it's not going to feel easy, you know, over this time period, guys. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, Mars is in Cancer, it's going to do its whole thing, then eventually go retrograde. But then, you know, over this time, it's like, it's not going to be easy to go after or basically, you know, attack or do all these certain things. We're going to be like, there's going to be this like instinct where we feel like we have to be more defensive in our actions, or, you know, if we come across any conflicts and stuff like that. Because like the best offense, as Mars is being in Cancer, is expressing more defense. And that's like because, you know, Cancer represents, you know, the crab. It's a very defensive sign. It's a very moody sign. It can be, you know, very emotional and uncomfortable sometimes, but it's going to be an uncomfortable time, you know, and there's like these emotions that we are going to, you know, be experiencing when Mars goes through Cancer. Like I said, it's not going to be easy, guys. So we have to take it easy, because this is the time where we might have to do a lot more things, you know, outside of our comfort zone. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but maybe you have to do these things in order to basically, you know, come out of that comfort zone, or just, you know, it's going to be tough, guys. So just take it easy. And then when eventually Mars begins its retrograde in this sign of Cancer, that's also going to like slow down our energy. It's going to slow down a lot of things, the momentum of what we want to go after. So, but it'll be a time to just really like rest, for the most part, take care of what's necessary. And that's a big, I would say, Mars and Cancer thing, is taking care of what's necessary, what we need to feel protected with too. So I can go on and on about that, guys. But yeah, that's Mars in Cancer. So prepare for the big change, September 4th. And he stays in this sign for, I think, until like October or something, or no, like I said, November, because it eventually, he gets into shadow around like 17 degrees of Cancer, and then that's when it starts to slow down. I think he enters his shadow on like October 8th, I think, around that time, the beginning of October. So that's when the energy is gonna really start to slow down. So prepare yourself, guys. All right, and then basically the next couple days, Mercury's coming back into that square with Uranus. So what we've been dealing with since Mercury's been in the sign of Leo, doing its retrograde back and forth thing, he's been going over a square with Uranus. You know, Mercury's about the mind, what we process, you know, how we're processing information, what we're speaking. It's in Leo. It's a very bold, very, you know, speaking with our chest and stuff like that, just bold, very prideful, very just egotistical, like, this is what I'm saying, and blah, 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 blah. It's a very loud and yapping kind of sign, very impulsive in a way. Coming into a square with Uranus, this is gonna, you know, bring a lot more like anxiousness, really just kind of like, you know, mess with our mind, you know, bring a lot of mental chaoticness in a way. Yes, it's because it's like it's Uranus and stuff like that, so it's going to bring that chaoticness, unexpected, unpredictable and stuff like that. So expect, you know, this finalization. But we've been going through this transit, so this isn't going to feel like something new. Yes, it might feel unexpected, and you run into someone who says something and you're just like, whoa, like that kind of pisses me off, or the way they said that, or what they did isn't, you know, is really bringing a lot more attention to it. So yes, it's gonna feel unexpected. We're not gonna be expecting it, and then boom, we get hit with it, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is that, you know, unexpectedness that Mercury and Uranus are really kind of fighting against each other. So just expect that. As that is happening, the Sun is approaching an opposition to Saturn, and that basically, you know, that's like around September 7th, September 8th, around that time. So that's going to be, you know, the Sun opposite Saturn. So this is the halfway point for Saturn's retrograde overall. And then Saturn's going to be finishing up very soon. But when the Sun is going opposite Saturn, we're going to be facing oppositions to authority figures, you know, stuff that's really out of our control. The Sun in Virgo is very, you know, focused on the mundane situations. It wants to get everything done at a certain, you know, getting our ducks in a row, focused on the details, doing our work, blah, 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 and stuff like that. Going opposite Saturn. Saturn's in Pisces. Saturn is kind of just like, you know, trying to, you know, help us discipline ourselves, our inner selves of who we really are. And we've been dealing with this since last year, since he entered the sign of Pisces. And there's been blocks, there's been, you know, obstacles and challenges, and like having us, we've been needing to mature in this area of life for us. And yes, Saturn's about authority figures, you know, being responsible, mature, you know, doing what's focusing on our long-term goals. So but having Saturn opposite the Sun, or the Sun opposite Saturn, this is kind of like, you know, the Sun's like, oh, I need to focus on the mundane things, the little details, and Saturn's like, you know, those details don't really matter. We need to just kind of just, you know, work on whatever we can, and, you know, in order to bring this change or any change to our long-term goals and stuff like that. And yeah, that might not be easy. We're going to be faced with, you know, hard no's. We're going to be faced with obstacles. We're going to be hitting walls. We're going to be like, you know, why can't I get past this? And this is going to be the challenge. So we're going to have to just, you know, do what we can. You know, yes, Virgo and Pisces is kind of like, the Virgo side is like, you know, like I said, the mundane things. It's like trying to do the, the practical things. It's very rational and logistics, a very logistical sign and stuff like that. The Pisces is very just like, you know, faithful, just, you know, universal, just like, you know, nothing is everything, it doesn't matter, we're just kind of blending into whatever is blah, 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 and stuff like that. So this is kind of like the Pisces Virgo axis and stuff like that. But there is also a healing type of energies to these two signs too. So kind of focus, if the Virgo side is all about, taking care of the physical self, health problems and stuff like that. Pisces is all about like the mental, subconscious, health and stuff like that. So maybe that's another thing that we will be experiencing during that transit. And then basically the next day, Mercury enters back into the sign of Virgo. Mercury is exalted in this sign. It is also it rules the sign of Virgo, so it has a kind of like a double dignified energy to this when Mercury goes into the sign of Virgo. And Mercury's just basically finishing up his post-shadow territory. I think it's like September 11th where he finishes. So after that, he's going to be speeding as fast as he can throughout this month. And actually, at the end of the month, he actually connects with the sun. So that's kind of like how fast he ends up going, like basically towards the middle of the month for the rest of the month. Okay, so Mercury in Virgo. Mercury's about how we're communicating, what we're processing, information, dealings and stuff like that. When it's in Virgo, it's very extra sharp, very focused. Like I said, it's kind of like the detail oriented sign. So it's going to be very easier to focus on these little details. Try to remember like when Mercury first entered the sign of Virgo. I think it was like the beginning of August. So kind of think about what was going on, or I think it was the end of July, but whatever. We had a little bit of Mercury in Virgo in August. But think about what's going on at that period of time, because we're back at that, because Mercury's stationed retrograde like a few degrees into Virgo. So we're back at this point again. We're triple checking everything. We're making sure everything's kind of being finalized as Mercury's finishing its post-retrograde territory, or retrograde cycle, I should say. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of Mercury in Virgo. That's going to be a very, very easy, transit. We have Mercury in a dignified rulership sign, and we also have Venus in its dignified rulership sign. So we have two planets in their home signs at this point, which is very, very easy. It makes things easier to basically express, because the planets are working with their natural elements. Then Mercury basically ends up making a sextile to Mars, so that kind of helps out the Mars and Cancer thing, I would say. Even though Mars isn't really doing in the best position at this point. He's just kind of just doing whatever he can. Like I said, Mars and Cancer is going to make us more moody, maybe more emotional and stuff like that. So having Mercury come into a sextile with Mars, this is giving a little gesture, a little like, here's a little, stepping stool or something to help you out in order for you to move a little bit forward with more clarity. It's not going to be maybe much clarity, but it'll kind of help, guide us in the direction we're heading into by focusing on these little details and stuff like that. Virgo, Cancer is kind of like, Cancer is about like, feeling protective, very home-based and stuff like that. And then Virgo kind of brings that, groundedness, service-based and stuff like that energy. So I feel like that's kind of like a service home kind of, connection that we can experience. Let's see, next thing, the sun is coming into a square with Jupiter. So yeah, that's going to be, Sun in Virgo. This is, okay, so they're both in Mercury ruled signs. So this is mainly focused on like the mental kind of level, I guess you could say. Jupiter is in detriment in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter isn't working at its best. It's in a Mercury ruled sign, which, Jupiter in Gemini is just like trying to rationalize, trying to bring optimism in like the logistic and to the rational mind. It's like bringing like trying to be very optimistic and open-minded in this very closed-minded, very detail-oriented sign. It's a little hard, it's kind of hard to understand, hard to grip around it. And it's kind of it's a very interesting, kind of a challenging, kind of a weird transit. But having the sun coming into a square with Jupiter, we're going to just be, dealing with these mental challenges. We're trying to, understand this information. We're trying to do like little things in order to bring more service to other people. And I don't know, there's going to be a little bit of a mental challenge here. That's what I would say. Mercury's going to end up coming into a square with Jupiter eventually. But yeah, this Jupiter in Gemini is kind of interesting. And Jupiter is slowing down. Jupiter, this is the last month that Jupiter is going to be, you know, in direct motion. He's going to station at 21 degrees of Gemini, I believe, in October. So this is as far as Jupiter is going to get before going backwards and doing its retrograde cycle starting next month. So yes, this might bring a lot more of like, oh, you want to do, you know, over the top things. This might give you a little bit more energy of wanting to do all that, but it's just like you're focusing on this information, this service-based kind of vibe, and it's not really kind of, you're not putting two and two together. I feel like that's what's bringing the challenge. It's not going to make sense, but we'll have to like kind of like understand and go one step at a time to really, you know, kind of, you know, I guess bring this transit to a more positive vibe. So if things don't make sense, it's okay. Just do what you can. That's all I was saying. Okay, but there's a positive thing actually happening right after that. Well, I guess you could say the 14th, the 15th, something like that. But let's go back to the 11th. Or I should say the 12th, because I think that's the last day. So Mercury is out of its shadow cycle at this point. So like September 11th is, I believe, is the last day that Mercury is finalizing that Mercury retrograde cycle. So starting September 12th, we are completely out of it. No more personal planet retrogrades until Mars goes retrograde in like December or something like that, or the next time Mercury will go. I think it's going to be the next time Mercury goes retrograde. But for this little short period, I believe from like September 12th through like October 7th or something like that, is going to be like the last full time having like no personal like retrograde planets, you know, because we've been dealing with that, you know, most of the summer and stuff like that. But that is going to be the last time for the whole year, September 12th to like October 7th or something like that, with forward movement. So any plans, any things you need to get done during that time, make sure it's during September 12th through October, like the beginning of October and stuff like that. Okay, guys? Because after that, Mars will eventually go into its shadow retrograde cycle territory, whatever you want to call it. And that's going to really slow things down. It's not going to bring a lot of, you know, forward movement. So if you need any important things done, like, you know, signing a new lease, if you need to get a new car this time or something like that, getting a new house, new job, or whatever it is, wait until after September 11th to make that happen, guys. Okay, that's going to be very important. Okay, back to what I was talking about. So Venus is coming into a trine with Jupiter. We love that. So coming after the Sun squaring Jupiter, Venus going into a trine with Jupiter is bringing more ease, more, you know, connectiveness. Venus and Jupiter are the two benefic planets. They are the more easier planets. So, you know, Venus in Libra is already like trying to bring more connectiveness, bringing more fairness to other people, more equality and stuff like that. Trying to make things more easy while we're relating to other people. Connecting to Jupiter in Gemini, this is just going to be a very social time. You know, it's going to be a very connective time. You know, we could be expanding new relationships at this point, meeting new people, you know, and it's going to be very beneficial as this transit, you know, progresses and stuff like that. That's awesome. We love that. And it's a trine. It's one of the more positive aspects. This is not going to be, you know, something so forceful or challenging. This is going to be very smooth, very easy to just like connect with one another. I love that, guys. Take advantage of that. And that brings us to the partial eclipse in Pisces. So when I was looking at this, I believe a year ago, I wasn't too sure if this would be like just a regular full moon or if this would be like an eclipse. But I saw other astrologers talk about this and they were like, yeah, this is a partial eclipse in Pisces. So I was like, okay, I guess it is, you know? So, but what's important about this, guys, let me actually get to the actual minute. I think it's at like 25 degrees. Okay, 25 degrees of Pisces 25 Virgo. So it's, I mean, it's connected to, you know, Neptune, first of all. So that's really bringing a very, like, you know, elusive kind of fantasy, you know, dreamlike kind of energy to that. But what's very important about this, yes, we're in eclipse season now. This is like, okay, this 2 week period from the full moon in Pisces to the new moon in Libra, which will be the solar eclipse in Libra, 2 weeks after this full moon, we are in eclipse season. So this full moon in Pisces, this is going to be the first full moon in Pisces that we will be experiencing over the next couple years, because the North Node and South Node are going to be shifting signs, I think, starting in January. Excuse me. The North Node is going to be entering Pisces, and then the South Node is going to be entering Virgo, and then that's going to be the 2 areas where we are going to experience these eclipse seasons, or these eclipses. Okay, guys? So yes, this is kind of like a wide orb. The moon's right here at like 25 degrees of Pisces, and the North Node's at like 6 degrees of Aries. So this is kind of like an out of sign eclipse, but I guess this is close enough to be a partial eclipse, you could say. So yes, and it's a full moon. This is going to be very exposing, you know, like anything, you know, the energy is going to be high because it's the full moon. The energy is going to be super high because it's in a partial eclipse. So like eclipses are kind of like, as they say, full moons on steroids or something like that, if you've heard that. But yeah, so this is going to be a very exposing time of you know, whatever Pisces rules for all of us. And yes, Pisces is kind of like that, the unseen realm. It's a very spiritual kind of vibe. It's very faithful, religious based, a little bit of like that. It's a Jupiter ruled sign. But yeah, and it's connected with Neptune too as well. So that's a very like elusive kind of fantasy type of, maybe a little bit dissolving too as well. So that's going to be a very interesting time, guys. Yeah, like the energy is going to be super high, and we are experiencing the eclipses at this point. So if you want to know what's going on, stick to the horoscopes later on, and we'll talk about that for each sign. Next thing that goes on is the sun is going into a trine with Uranus. So that happens, when does that happen? That happens on the 19th. Okay, so sun's at 27 degrees of Virgo, trining Uranus in the 27 Taurus. You know, they're both in earth signs, so this is a focus on the material world, very tangible kind of, you know, items and stuff like that. The sun's in Virgo, trying to, you know, be, you know, more logical, more mundane, like focus on little details, mundane stuff. You know, like just working little things, being of service, whatever. Trining Uranus and Taurus. This is going to be, you know, bring a more unexpected but positive kind of shift when it comes to maybe being of service, working in general. Something to do with our finances can be unexpectedly, you know, boosted our finances and stuff like that. You know, think about all the material things, the very earthy energy. So this is a very positive, unexpected kind of shift, which is pretty exciting. And then the following day, the sun is going opposite Neptune, and that's the halfway point of Neptune's retrograde. So yeah, sun opposite Neptune. So the sun, like I said, I'm continuing this Virgo Pisces kind of energies and stuff like that, and we're going to continue this as these planets, or as at least, you know, the sun and Mercury go through the sign of Virgo. So, and the same day, Mercury's coming into a square with Jupiter as well. So the sun is in Virgo, you know, it's trying to, you know, focus on the mundane things. I'm repeating myself, you know, detail oriented, blah, 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 service and stuff like that. And then it goes opposite Neptune. This isn't going to be a lot more, I mean, like, I feel like there's not going to be as much clarity, but I feel like we are going to understand, like, why there's not being so much clarity at this time. You know, yes, there's going to be a lot of elusive stuff. There might be stuff to do with like dissolving what we have been experiencing. You're trying, nothing's gonna make really sense. You're gonna try to pinpoint every little detail, every fact. That's a Virgo thing. It's really focusing on the facts of what's real and what's not real. And Neptune's bringing that, unrealistic kind of vibe to it. So yes, it's not gonna be very clear at this time, but we're gonna have to just go with the flow of, even if things don't make sense, just kind of do what you can. I feel like that's all I've been basically saying through this video. And then we go to Mercury squaring Jupiter. So yes, this is the more mental challenge. At least Mercury's kind of in a better state at this point, but Jupiter is still it's looking towards Mercury because Mercury is ruling over Jupiter right now because Jupiter's in Mercury's house. I know it's a lot of information. That's kind of going to be the whole vibe of it. Too much information, trying to rationalize everything, trying to understand things, and it's just going to be like, what does that mean? I don't understand any of that. I feel like that's kind of be like the vibe of that transit stuff. So, and then the sun basically makes a trine to Pluto, and this is going to be the final time that the sun makes a trine to Pluto and Capricorn because they're both in earth signs. There's going to be kind of like this grand trine happening, this grand earth trine with like Mercury, Sun, trining Pluto and Capricorn, and then they're both trining the moon and Uranus. That's very cool. That's a very earthy, realistic, kind of grounded vibe to it. And it's very, very powerful, very unexpected, very, easy to handle and stuff like that. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that. So yeah, the Sun trine Pluto, bringing more powerful, energies to like what I just said, very easy flowing, make you feel more powerful in what you are basically doing. This is an earth sign, so this is more focused on the realistic day-to-day work and stuff like that, or focusing on material things that you own. You can feel more powerful and working with tools and stuff like that, or resources. That's another big word, resources. Okay, and then the sun enters Libra. Let's get a little bit right here. Okay, so Libra season. So this is when the autumn season starts for the northern hemisphere, spring in the southern. What's interesting about the sun going into Libra is this is the sign of the sun's fall. And as I say that, it's kind of like, that you just said that's when, fall starts. And it's kind of like the, little weird, I guess, kind of note. I've always kind of figured, that's a little like interesting, vibe shift, or I guess energy, you could say. But Sun in Libra, this is focused on relationships now. Everything's, basically more relatable. You're trying to put your focus on to other people in order to see who you really are. It's a very like it's a balanced kind of way. You want to relate to other people in order to understand who you are. I feel like a lot of Libras can relate to that because that's kind of like who they really are. They kind of, base themselves onto other people and relationships, trying to be equal with other people and stuff like that. So that's going to be the whole shift of that. This is equal days, equal nights. Like I said, this is when fall begins and stuff like that. So that's a very, shift in the energies and stuff like that. So yeah, and then Libra season is very, well, I don't know what I was gonna say, but Libra season is very anyways. Okay, so then the sun will basically go over the south node and stuff like that, joining Venus at this point, and Venus is about to shift. Venus is about to enter, leave her sign of Libra, and then going into the sign of Scorpio. So that brings us to that. But before that, Mercury enters. Okay, I'm all over the place. I know. Mercury forms a trine to Uranus. That's the next thing that I have written down here. Okay, actually, hold on. Let me go back to Venus entering Scorpio. Okay, so Venus is going, leaving her home sign of Libra, entering the sign of Scorpio. So Venus, this is where she finds herself in her sign of detriment. It's in the opposite sign of Taurus where she rules, so she's basically as far away from home as she can be. Venus in Scorpio, I wouldn't say is a bad transit, because what Venus is about love, pleasures, what we're relating to, what's attractive and stuff like that. When she enters the sign of Scorpio, this is bringing a more deeper kind of vibe to it when it comes to relating to other people. Venus in Scorpio really values intimacy, like that depth of intimacy with other people. Like Libra and Scorpio are very, much about the relationships signs, the two relationship signs. So it's like going into Libra is kind of like, relating to other people, bringing more ease and stuff like that. Bringing more friendly and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. Then she enters Scorpio, and this is bringing a more deeper vibe to these relationships and what we want to it. Yes, it's going to be very deep depth, kind of just like, focusing on the darker sides of what we want. Venus and Scorpio, they have this like intensity to them too, and that's going to bring a more of the intensity vibe as she transits through the sign of Scorpio. People who have Venus and Scorpio are like willing to basically, show their partners, that they are willing to commit to them no matter what it takes. They can be, very they have this martial vibe to it. So if like you do them wrong, they will basically sting you with that scorpion's sting and stuff like that. So you don't want to mess with anybody that, or do them wrong and stuff like that. But it just really brings a more martial energy to, Venus's transit through the sign of Scorpio, because she's basically using martial tools in order to attract other people, and that's basically going after instead of receiving that stuff. Like when Venus is in Libra, it's more easy to just receive more, whatever you want, your desires and stuff like that. It just comes more easier for you. And then when she enters Scorpio, it's a really time to really go after, I would say, going after in like a secretive kind of way. And that's kind of like the whole vibe. If she's in Aries, it's a very bold, like in your face, like this is what I want, blah, 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 blah. But then when she's in Scorpio, it's kind of like a very secretive, behind the scenes things of what I'm trying to, attract. So that's going to be the whole vibe thing. Yes, she's in detriment, but that doesn't mean it's the worst thing in the world. Okay. Then she makes a square to Pluto basically as she's leaving the sign of Libra and entering the sign of Scorpio. So that's going to bring, maybe, challenges or power struggles when it comes to our relationships and what we're trying to attract, stuff like that. So you want to watch out for manipulation or trying to control certain things. That's kind of like the whole thing that I would watch out for. Okay, and then this brings us to Mercury coming into a trine with Uranus. So that is going to bring like an unexpected thing, that you didn't expect to happen. That's going to be like some mental clarity of like, oh wow, like I didn't, I did this thing and then just boom, this unexpected thing just popped out of nowhere and here it is, like cool. So yeah, this is really focusing on material things, or resources or something like that. This could do with your money or just how you're presenting service to other people in like a new way. And it's going to be a very like a light bulb moment, like, oh wow, this is I didn't expect this, and things are just flowing more easily at this point. So that's kind of an interesting transit happening there. Let's see. And then Mercury goes opposite Neptune, and that just kind of brings like that, Virgo Pisces axis, like, oh, this doesn't seem so clear. What does this mean? What does this mean? Why is this not making sense? Blah, 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 blah. Focusing on little details. And then Neptune's like, don't focus on all this stuff. It doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. It's bringing more fogginess. So that's kind of a weird vibe right there. And then, let's see. And then Mercury makes a trine to Pluto right before it enters Libra. So that's a very, very powerful kind of mental, subconscious, vibe to what you're doing when it comes to like communicating to other people. Very powerful communications, I would say. So what you're communicating is very powerful. And then Mercury goes into Libra. So yeah, okay. And then that's kind of like how we end the month. Is just basically Mercury and the Sun going into Libra, Venus going into Scorpio, and then that's going to be basically most of the time for October and stuff like that. Excuse me. All right, so Mercury in Libra, this is like really focusing on being more fair. This is a very social sign. This is kind of just like initiating more conversations. It's a cardinal sign, so I feel like people who have Mercury in Libra are good at, starting conversations and stuff like that. It makes it more easier to talk to people who have, I would say, Mercury and Libra, because they're very focused on being fair, social, very social people, trying to keep things very equal and just easy flowing and stuff like that. And then they're both basically coming in, the Mercury's coming into the heart of the Sun. This is just, like I said, Mercury started the month being retrograde, slowing down, taking one step at a time, very slowly, and then it just sped very, very fast after its past its shadow period at that point. So, and now it's coming into the heart of the Sun. There's some clarity there. They're both going over the South Node, so this is bringing, a lot more past situations back from, uprooting that stuff. You're gonna have to like deal with maybe some karmic things, very fateful things at that point when it comes to relationships, connecting with others, being social and trying to make things equal and fair for one another. And that's kind of like how we end the month. And then basically the last like real thing that happens is Mars is coming into a trine with Saturn, and this is like right before Mars enters its retrograde territory, guys. So Mars trining Saturn, this is going to bring, a little bit more ease when it comes to working with authorities, authority figures, basically helping you in the direction that you desire to choose to chase after. It's going to be very, emotional kind of a drive that's like you're trying to address, and it's going to be kind of a weird vibe shift of like, because it's Mars is in Cancer and it's not really comfortable and not really knowing how, where to go and stuff like that. But having this trine with Saturn is basically going to really help us, kind of guide us when it comes to any long-term goals, anything we need to basically make more a more realistic direction. And yeah, it's going to be a very emotional time, but we're going to have to really focus inward on, where to go and how to do it and stuff like that. So that's kind of the whole vibe there. And that's about it for the month of September. So let's get into the horoscopes. Try to get through this as quickly as possible. And we're going to start, I guess, right at the beginning of the month. Excuse me. Okay, we'll start here. All right, for Aries rising. Okay, so Pluto's back into your 10th whole sign house of Capricorn for the final time over the next couple months. This is going to just be finalizing anything to do with what's been transforming in your career sector. So maybe if you're trying to, get a job or do something in the public eye, that's really just making you, what's been going on since 2008, that's really basically this is the last hurrah. What do you need to do to finalize any situations to do with your career, your public life, the role you are playing out into the public, your reputation and stuff like that. So that's going to be the whole vibe over until November. So, Yes, Pluto's been in your 11th house, opening a new door of transformation when it comes to 11th house themes, friendships, communities, group-based matters, your dreams, aspirations. But we need to finalize some last-minute things, last-minute works when it comes to your career sector. Uranus is stationing in your 2nd house of Taurus, and that's just kind of just going to bring the whole, what needs a little bit more change, more, freedom-based liberations when it comes to your personal resources, your money, what you own, how you are prioritizing your time, stuff like that, your possessions. And this is just going to bring, you're going to have to maybe adjust or improve there's certain changes when it comes to, that can make you feel more liberated. Then we have a new moon happening in your 11th house, 6th house of Virgo, just creating a little bit more, initiating more change, initiating something new when it comes to how you are providing service for yourself or others, how you are taking care of any health-based matters, trying to improve any, routines, trying to improve anything to do with coworkers, or just how you are, working in general, or what you need to provide for yourself in order to, have, I guess the best, a decent job, or just a decent way of just servicing others and stuff like that. So that's kind of the new moon. And then Mars enters your 4th house of Cancer. So this is going to shift the whole vibe. This is going to shift the whole energy shift of your direction. It's going to feel maybe a little uncomfortable because Mars is in its sign of fall. This is going to bring, a focus on your home life, family, your property and stuff like that. You're, focusing on your maternal instincts, your roots, your foundation, stuff like that. So you might have some conflicts when it comes to family members, or what you're doing around the house, and it might not feel easy. Maybe watch out for anything to do with water in the house, any leaks. I would kind of mention that is possible. Something to do with your mothers or your mother figures. Maybe just kind of taking care of them, or maybe having a little bit more arguments or something like that. But just, it's gonna feel uncomfortable, and you're gonna have to try to do as best as you can to really protect your home area. Focus on your instincts. It's gonna feel like you have this passive aggressiveness, but I feel like focusing on your intuition will really help out for the most part. Then Mercury will go into the sign of Virgo in your 6th house, really just focusing and helping you to focus on, little details when it comes to servicing other people, your job, connecting with coworkers, your routines, trying to get, things in order for you to provide what you need, or provide what other people need from you. If you're, that's what I would say about that. Maybe you're focusing on your health, at that time, physical health, wellness, maybe trying to heal certain things. That's what I would say. Okay, and then we basically have the full moon, partial eclipse in Pisces at that point, and that is in your 12th house. There's something behind the scenes that is really being uprooted for you, Aries. You're not really understanding what it really means, but I feel like whatever it is, whatever comes up at this point, is you're really going to have to pay attention to this, because this is going to be the area of life where you are going to, experience these eclipses in your 12th house of hidden behind the scenes areas, and your 6th house of Virgo too. So that's also a healing energy as well. This is mental health in your 12th house. So think about, how you can heal your mental side, focusing on any dreams, your subconscious, messages. If you're experiencing that in your dreams and stuff like that, that's going to be really shown. It's going to be kind of a flashing a light, in a dark room, and you're gonna be like kind of seeing like what's hidden, what's in your closet, and like, you know, the skeletons are coming out or something like that. So that's kind of like that, which isn't scary. I'm just saying, like, that's kind of like the whole vibe. And then the sun will enter your seventh. Oh, whoops, hold on. Whoops, wrong one. Okay. Sun will enter your sign of the 7th house of Libra, and that is just going to be focusing on other people for that month. You're going to try to have, you might have to deal with oppositions, you know, with other people, but you're going to have to try to find some compromise, some balance, in order to, you know, create more ease when it comes to, you know, fairness or what you want, what other people want, because it's focusing on other people. So you can't really focus on yourself too much at this point. This is just focusing on what other people need from you, or just what other people need. You might need to support other people as well. Venus will enter your 8th house of Scorpio, and that's shifting the whole vibe when it comes to, you know, what we're attracting, how we express our love. This is just going to be, like I was saying in the intro, deepening these relationship connections, these romance connections and stuff like that. You want to experience more intimacy when it comes to like relationships, how you're relating to other people and stuff like that. So, and then the last thing is Mercury is going into Libra at that point, basically putting more of a focus on other people and you know, how you're communicating with other people. Maybe you'll meet new people at that point, maybe connecting with new people, maybe new friends, or you're experiencing new friends at that point. New people, new contracts will be probably presented to you, and you might be dealing with some dealings, like contract dealings and stuff like that. What else can I say? I mean, just, you know, supporting others, commitments, helping other people, focusing on other people, you know, contracts, stuff like that. So, yeah, that's kind of the whole vibe for you, Aries. Hopefully you have a good month. Okay, we're going to go to Taurus. Okay. So Taurus rising. So Pluto is going back into your 9th house of Capricorn to finalize anything to do with like, you know, philosophy stuff, higher education. Maybe if you're trying to go to school, this will be a really good time to really finish up, you know, anything to do with like maybe you're taking one more semester before you, you know, are going out into the career of your choosing, of what you want to do out into the world, because Pluto has been in your 10th house, you know, opening a door of like expanding this, you know, this public eye, or your public life into a new direction, trying to transform a new authoritarian kind of role out in the public. You know, given these doors opening for you out there, but then, you know, having Pluto come into your 9th house, this is just kind of just basically, you know, like I said, finalizing anything to do with like higher education, philosophies, legal matters, any truths, any religious-based stuff that you are learning, or just learning in general. Or this could just do with any like traveling, either traveling abroad, traveling cross country, learning foreign things, languages, stuff like that. So that's going to be the whole vibe until November for you. So just, you know, just in the backdrop, I mean, I'm sure you've been understanding since 2008 what's been transforming in this area of life for you, Tauruses. So I think you're just understanding what it is, and you're just trying to finalize anything in order to move forward as soon as it's finalized. Next thing happening is Uranus is going retrograde in your 1st house. So, you know, Uranus is in your 1st house of personality, of how you're presenting yourself, your approach to life, you know, impressions and stuff like that. So maybe there's certain changes that you need to improve on or adjust to in order to feel liberated or feel actually free to like express yourself Maybe it's been a very like unexpected kind of way of expressing yourselves. Maybe not so easy. Uranus isn't in the best position in the sign of Taurus, but it's been trying to maybe get you out of your comfort zone in order to go beyond the norm of where you're limited or something like that. So I feel like this could be very interesting and very it could feel like very exciting. And then once Uranus has been doing this since like 2008, so 2018, I should say. So this isn't something very new. You've been experiencing this transit a few times, so not the biggest deal. But yeah, this will feel liberated. Have you feeling liberated eventually? And then we have the new moon happening in your 5th house. New moons, new intentions. Planting new seeds. This is 5th house. This is the fun house. This is a very playful experience house, focusing on children, your creative side, pleasures, entrepreneurship, if you're doing any of that stuff, dating, romance, inspiration, your bucket list items, just focusing on this like little area of life for you. Okay, so yeah, hobbies and stuff like that. Next thing, Mars is going into your 3rd house. So Mars is going into Cancer. It's not going to be the best transit, but this is going to be a very, kind of out of the box kind of push that you need to maybe do. Mars is going to go eventually retrograde in this point of eventually in the next couple of months. So yeah, it's going to be, pushed back on any plans or things that you want to accomplish. 3rd house is about, short-term traveling, focusing on your immediate environment, close friends, communication, education, interacting with people, social media, stuff like that. So you might, have this drive for these kind of stuff, but it's going to feel like you're going to be, set back or, passive aggressive on these like certain things. Maybe, creating conflicts when it comes to other people in your immediate environment, and, just having a little uncomfortability and stuff like that. So just kind of pay attention of what's going on and try not to overdo it, because it could probably feel very uncomfortable. Like I said, you're gonna feel that passive aggressiveness. Like and stuff like that. So, so yeah, that's kind of like the whole vibe of it. Then Mercury will enter your 5th house. That's a very flowing, easy trine to your Taurus house. So that's a very interesting transit. But Mercury going into Virgo, it's going to be very easy to focus on or be focused on, the details of stuff. This 5th house, like I said, pleasures, hobbies, entrepreneurship, it might be pretty good for that kind of stuff. Dealings with, money and stuff like that, money, maybe dealing with hobbies, your creative hobbies, you're earning money and stuff like that. It's going to be like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this and this and that. And it can actually, provide a more, entrepreneurship money and stuff like that. Or just focusing on dating, romance, stuff like that. It could be very easy, very, focusing on little details with a partner and stuff like that. I could just say that. Let's see. And then we go to the full moon in Pisces. This is the partial eclipse in Pisces. So this is going to be, one of the first ones that we are going to be experiencing, or I should say, what you guys are going to be experiencing over the next couple of years for your Tauruses. This is the 11th house. 11th house is about friendships, communities, group-based matters, your aspirations, dreams, stuff like that. So something is being, brought to light in this area of life for you, and this is a big shakeup. Like, this is like, oh my God, this is going to be, something big. It's not going to be scary or anything, because this is just an eclipse. It's what's needed, stuff like that. So it's okay. Your audience could grow if you're doing anything. Like, this is like 5th house entrepreneurship. Your audience is over here like, oh, okay, this is actually interesting. Of, all these hobbies and stuff I'm doing, this is actually bringing more people in, or something like that. Or just, when it does, career, matters and stuff like that, you're earning more resources, or, earn money from your career and stuff like that. So pay attention to all that stuff over the next couple of years. Then the sun will enter your 6th house of Libra, followed by Mercury. So the sun is in your is in your 6th house, and Mercury as well. This is just going to be focusing on your daily routines, your health-based matters, maybe, you know, how you're serving other people, what you're providing to, you know, providing service for yourself, something like that. Maybe just, you know, focusing on, you know, physical illnesses, trying to heal those kind of stuff. You know, trying to work with coworkers and make things, you know, a little bit better. The South Node is here, so this is a very karmic time when it comes to, you know, your work in general, your workspace, how you're working, people in your employees working with you. So yeah, you're going to be focused on all that kind of stuff. So let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, and then Mercury's there as well, so just connecting with people, trying to make things more easy, more fair. When it comes to serving other people, it might be a little bit more easier to connect with other people. You might have to adjust to certain circumstances. That's something else I could say. Venus going into your 7th house of Scorpio, that's going to bring more intimate, committed relationships, vibes to, you know, you guys. It's going to maybe feel a little uncomfortable and stuff like that, but, you know, it's going to be okay. You're going to have to just maybe, you know, create more balance or compromise a little bit here and there. But I think, you know, it'll eventually be, you know, bring a little bit of more just depth and ease to, I wouldn't say ease, but just a little bit more depth to how you need to support other people and what they need from you, how you're expressing your love to other people and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the whole vibe of that. Let's go to Gemini. Okay, so Pluto goes back into your 8th house of Capricorn for you Gemini risings. This is just bringing back up, you know, certain things to do with like shared resources, death-related situations, you know, very transformative, psychological type of area of life. You know, this is going to be a very, you know, deep, intimate time for your, you know, you and a partner, or, you know, how you're expressing other people's love and stuff like that, or just how you are contributing into, you know, other people's money, or what you are inheriting from other people. You've probably been experiencing a lot of inheritance when it comes to other people and what they've been providing you, or what you need from other people. Paying off debts, using you know, credit cards or something like that to, you know, help out or give back or something like that. Yeah, so this is going to just be a little short period until November for you guys. So just kind of you know, see what's been going on over the last 16 years in this area of life. This is just the final straw that you will have to experience with that. Next thing, Uranus is stationing retrograde in your 12th house. So this is just bringing more change to the unseen realm, behind the scenes, subconscious levels for you Gemini risings. So maybe there needs to be a little bit more change happening here, and you will eventually feel that change eventually once Uranus goes direct again. So yeah, if you are dealing with like any addictions, mental health and stuff like that, this is just going to be a time to really try to feel, you know, some type of change or liberation when it comes to that kind of stuff. So yeah. Next thing happening is Mars is going into the sign of Cancer. This is entering your 2nd house for you Geminis. It's going to be a little uncomfortable because Mars is in the sign of its fall. There's going to be a lot more passive aggressiveness when it comes to what you are going to want to go after, the direction you are hitting. But overall, I feel like Mars going into your 2nd house will help you, you know, give you more energy to, you know, to receive more resources, do a little bit more. You might have to get out of your comfort zone to, you know, earn more wealth, or earn your savings and stuff like that. Maybe you're spending a lot more. That's Mars in the 2nd house. You might be cutting a lot of, you know, big chunk in your wallet of your spending. So watch out for that. But yeah, you might have to do a little bit of things uncomfortable out of your comfort zone in order to receive a little bit more possessions, or just you're focusing on your priorities and stuff like that. Okay, then Mercury will enter your 4th house of Virgo, and that's kind of where the sun's at this point too. So this is focusing on your home life, family, your maternal instincts and stuff like that. But Mercury's in a better position at this point. So your ruler is in a better position. So yes, it's been in retrograde and you haven't really probably been feeling too good, but now you're feeling a little bit better as Mercury gets back into a more dignified sign. So yeah, it's a square. So you might bring some challenges in your home, some drama, but I think you'll be able to at least maneuver through or negotiate certain things in order to bring more of a connectiveness, or just bring a little bit of an ease, because it's more dignified and something like that. So let's see, next thing happening is this full moon in Pisces. So yes, this is a square. This is like a T-square to your house, to your first house of Gemini. But full moon in Pisces, this is in your career house, your public life. There's something that's being eclipsed here, that you're going to be experiencing over the next couple of years. So there's something being brought up. There's shining a light in your career sector. So maybe whatever career you've been going through or trying to build a structure for your life, this is going to be the change that's shifting this, either your public life or any careers that you are working for will be changed over the next couple years. The way you structure your life, any responsibilities will be shifted in major ways, and your reputation as well. Okay, next thing going on is the sun is entering sign of Libra. Venus is entering the sign of Scorpio in your 6th house, and then Mercury follows the sun into Libra. Okay, so the sun is going into Libra, followed by Mercury. So this is focusing on your 5th house, which is about your pleasures, creative hobbies, your creative side, stuff like that, bucket list items. So this is kind of be like what you're focusing on. The South Node is here, so that's being very karmic. It's a very karmic time for this point. Things are being, I would say recycled, or just like really changed in a way when it comes to like how you were expressing, maybe romance, or how you love. Like expressing your love and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot more just like, focusing on your, bucket list items. You might just want to go out there, have a little bit of fun and stuff like that. But like I said, the South is there, so it might bring a little bit of a, downness of not really having the best time, but it's being transformed here. Like there's a lot, once the South Node leaves your 5th house, I feel like you'll be able to, enjoy a little bit more things in this area of life for you. And your ruler's in, Libra as well, so this is just being more sociable and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little easier to be more sociable at this point. Venus moving into your 6th house of Scorpio. She's in detriment, so it's not really the easiest time to express love or how you're relating to other people, but this is just focusing on your 6th house of your work, services, coworkers, maybe trying to connect with other people on a deeper level and stuff like that. Maybe the people that you are serving, you are trying to bring more of a depth to it, in the connections you are, or just trying to focus on healing any physical illnesses or just your health in general. That's what I would say, and I believe that is it. For Cancers. Okay, so Pluto is going back into your 7th house for you Cancers. This is just, you're back in this, 7th house of relationships point of view when it comes to, transformation and power, fear, stuff like that. But it's not the best. It's not going to be a very, horrible time. But, it's just finalizing anything that's been going on since 2008. Yes, Cancers have been going through this for a very long time. So this is having Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, kind of, lighten that area of life for you when it comes to relationships, but it's been in a very deeper part of these relationships for you. But this is just the time to just really finalize any relationships, any contracts, any commitments or whatever that really will bring more transformation and change, when it comes to your relationships over the next couple months and stuff like that. Uranus is stationing retrograde in your 11th house, so this is just going to bring, more change and more liberation when it comes to, friendships, community-based, projects, group-related situations, focusing on your aspirations, dreams, what you want to, do out in the world that will provide that will give you an audience or something like that. Or what you can draw people into, something like that. But yeah, so Uranus is stationing, bringing a little bit of change of that at that point. And let's see, what's the next thing? The new moon in Virgo is happening in your 3rd house. So this is just bringing more, initiating something new when it comes to, Virgo, themes, being of service, focusing on the details and stuff like that. This is in your 3rd house of immediate environment, close friendships, social media, writing, education, stuff like that. So, and then after that, Mars is going into your 1st house. So Mars in Cancer isn't the best place for Mars, and having it, kind of enter your 1st house, yes, it'll give you a little bit more energy than you have been dealing with Mars in your 12th house. But this is going to be a little bit of an uncomfortable kind of vibe, kind of shift for you. Okay, so, Mars in Cancer is bringing a more passive aggressiveness to it. So the way you are impressioning other people or bring your impression to other people might be a little bit of an uncomfortable challenge for you. And you might be dealing with some inner conflicts of who you are. Or not really not having the best, outlet to express certain energy based themes. So that's going to be a challenge for you, but it's okay. We will get past this, even though Mars will eventually go retrograde in this area of life for you. So just take it easy, Cancers. Take it easy. Mercury is entering your 3rd house, just shifting the whole vibe of how you're communicating, or maybe being more social at this time. Being maybe a little of service when it comes to people in your environment, learning new things, educating yourself a little bit more, something like that. Interacting with more people, working with devices, or it'll just feel like, bring a little bit more ease when you're, using these resources or communicating or learning stuff that helps you interact with other people a little bit better. And that sextile with Mercury and Mars could help you, with people in your environment, can help you bring more ease into how you are expressing this inner anger or something that you can't really, let out, stuff like that. So I would say that's very helpful. Okay, next we have the full moon in Pisces. This is just, the first eclipse in Pisces over the next couple of years that you will be experiencing in your 9th house of foreign travel, foreign language, anything foreign, philosophies, higher education, religious-based stuff, legal matters, principles, something like that. So yeah, this could be a very focusing on religion. If you are into this could really help you, change your outlook, your worldview kind of vibe and stuff like that. So this is going to be a very important time to look at your beliefs and stuff like that as well. That's going to be a very huge, massive change over the next couple years for you, Cancers. All right, and then the Sun goes into Libra, Venus goes into Scorpio, and then Mercury goes into Libra as well. So Sun entering Libra, Mercury entering Libra. This is just focusing on your home life. So, you're kind of just maybe staying at home at this point, or just really just kind of just wanting to feel protective at home, maybe spending time with more family and stuff like that. You might have a little bit of drama, but, it's okay. This South Node has been in here kind of bringing a lot more change in your foundation of your home. The North Node's in your 10th house. Your work-home life has been very, very karmic and very shifted at this point over the last couple years. So yeah, just stick at home, focus on your maternal instincts, focus on taking care of what's necessary, for you and stuff like that. So Venus entering your 5th house is bringing more depth or intimacy when it comes to dating, romance, how you're expressing your self-expressions or your creative side, or you may be trying to do more entrepreneurships or focus on a creative hobby that can really bring more, desired, pleasures for you in that realm for you over this time of month for you Cancers. So yeah, it's gonna feel maybe a little uncomfortable, but maybe you have to get outside of your comfort zone if you are single and ready to mingle. So that's what I could say. All right, so let's go to Leos. Okay, so you have Pluto entering back into your 6th house of Capricorn for you Leos. This is just going to be focusing on, health-based matters, really transforming and finalizing anything that's been going on since 2008. I think we're, understanding what has been going on, and this is just the final straw to okay, these are the final steps that I need to do in order to complete this, this period of time of what I've been dealing with. This is also about the way you serve others, the way you serve yourself, just work-based matters in general, dealing with coworkers, dealing with people in your work environment and stuff like that. There's been a huge transformation of that way of your workspace and stuff like that. So routines, wellness, you're going to be focusing on this stuff, fitness, training, working out, all that stuff. That could really help you out, or just healing any injuries or illnesses of your physical body and stuff like that. Uranus is going retrograde in your 10th full sign house, so this is just bringing more change when it comes to your public life. You're trying to feel more liberated in your public life or the role you are playing in your career. It could be a big shakeup that's been going on over the past, Uranus has been doing this for our past few years now, so this isn't really anything new, but more change in your career life. Mars is entering your 12th house. This isn't gonna feel the best. Mars is already in its fall in Cancer, and this is already kind of feeling uncomfortable as well. Mars going into your 12th house is gonna feel even more uncomfortable, because the 12th house is the hidden realms, the behind the scenes. On top of Mars being in Cancer, being already passive aggressive, you're gonna feel this subconscious impulse of not really knowing what you should do, what you need to do, or what direction you need to take, blah blah blah, and you're gonna probably feel lost in a way. What you should do is, at least I can advise you or give you advice, is just take it easy on yourself. Focus on intuition, your intuitive instincts. If you are into spirituality, this could really help you focus on, or make you feel better on, focusing on spiritual stuff, spiritual directions, stuff like that. This could be about addictions, mental health, subconscious, like I said, subconscious impulses, doing stuff not really knowing why you're doing it, but you're doing it anyways, and you're what's going on? So that's going to be a challenge, but take it easy for you guys. It's going to be a long transit, guys. This is, Mars enters your 1st house in December, or in November and December, it goes retrograde. Boom, goes back in your 12th house. You're slowing down. This is going to feel extra, passive aggressive or subconscious, impulses or stops or something like that. So just take it easy. Take it easy. Okay, guys? Next thing happening is Mercury going into your 2nd house. So Sun and Mercury are in your 2nd house, focusing on your material world, your wealth, trying to get more wealthy, trying to build up your savings, trying to focus on what's your priorities, or trying to earn more possessions, or just what you need to support yourself. That's going to be the whole vibe as this transits are basically, going through your 2nd house. So yeah. So finances, money, resources, wellness, and stuff like that. Let's see. Full moon in Pisces happening next. So this is... Wait, hold on. Okay, we're just going to do right here. So this is the first eclipse in your 8th house when it comes to, Pisces. So this is 8th house. This is about psychological, transformations, shared resources, paying off debts, contributing, inheritance, soul contracts, financing anything, the mysterious realms, the occult, stuff like that, intimacy. So this is going to be a very, huge change happening when it comes to your money and other people's money over the next couple of years, guys. So huge change. Then the Sun and Mercury will go into Libra, and Venus will go into your 4th house of Scorpio. So Sun and Mercury going into your 3rd house, a very sociable time. You might be just, interacting with people in your immediate environment more, meeting new people, connecting with neighbors, connecting with just like close friends, or focusing on all that stuff. The South Node's been here. It's been kind of like shifting and bringing a more karmic, change to this area of life. So, even if it's felt uncomfortable, or, stuff bringing up to the past has been coming back when it comes to like, stuff in your immediate environment and stuff like that. But it's nothing like too bad. It's just like maybe you're taking, just being more sociable at this time. You could be taking more short trips at this time, just kind of experiencing, things in your environment, maybe dealing with any writing projects, or just working, getting new devices or something like that. So very sociable time. Venus entering your 4th house of Scorpio is just really just focusing on deepening your love for your family. Maybe when Venus goes into a 4th house, this could be about, renovating your home, decorating it, bringing more, depth or intimacy into your foundation, making it seem a little darker in a way, but just kind of like that's how the beauty it is when it comes to, even if you have, darker things or whatever and stuff like that. But that's what I could say for you Leos. All right. All right, Virgos. So Pluto's going back into your 5th house of Capricorn to finalize anything to deal with, your creative side, any creative hobbies, anything to do with like love, romance, your bucket list. It's being transformed at this point. Entertainment, anything to do with children is being transformed at this time. Pluto opened the door in your 6th house in Aquarius, to do with like service and opening new doors of like how you are maybe trying to work differently, or just how you're servicing other people. And then that'll come back eventually, but we have to finalize and, finish up some old things that have been going on since 2008. So this is going to be a huge transformation for you at this point. And then Uranus goes into, Uranus stations retrograde at this point in your 9th house, changing, bringing more change when it comes to higher education, learning, philosophy, religious stuff, your beliefs, foreign travel, foreign languages, anything foreign, legal matters, principles, expanding, your worldview and stuff like that. And then Mars will go into your 11th house of Cancer. Mars in Cancer isn't the best place. This is gonna bring, feel a little bit uncomfortable at this point, but this is just the vibe. Mars is gonna be here for quite some time. There's gonna be some like passive aggressiveness, energy is coming up at this point. Mars being in your 11th house can bring, more conflicts when it comes to friendships, people like working with other people or groups of people. You might have some disagreements or conflicts and stuff like that, but that's all right. So just take it easy when it comes to that stuff. You're just going to be more energized when it comes to like working with groups of people at this point as well, or coming together with people, or people that have the same like just dreams and aspirations as you, or the goals, the lifelong goals. If you find people who share the same common goals as you. Then Mercury will enter your 1st house, as well as the Sun going into your 1st house. It's been here for a while. Your ruler is entering your 1st house, so you are feeling more dignified. You are feeling more at ease of like, communicating or processing information, or sending your impressions onto other people, being more realistic, practical, analytical, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna feel more operative when it comes to presenting yourself as well. So And then we have a full moon happening in your 7th house of Pisces. This is a partial eclipse, so this area of life is going to bring massive change to your relationships, okay? Relationships, business contracts, how you're committing to other people's, how you're supporting other people, stuff like that. That's going to be a very, very huge shift over the next couple of years, guys, which could bring a lot more beneficial outcomes for you, even if things feel a little bit chaotic. Then everything goes into Libra. So the Sun and Mercury enter your 2nd house of Libra, and Venus enters your 3rd house of Scorpio. So Sun going into Libra, followed by Mercury. This is just focusing on, bringing more peaceful things, ease, harmony, and stuff like that. It's in your 2nd house. You want to, focus on your priorities and be more, bring more fairness or just focus on what you need to support yourself. And maybe this involves, having relationships that can help you. Or just focusing on trying to focus on your values and what's more valuable in order to bring more wealth to your to you, or just what you need to support yourself, or just trying to increase your savings and stuff like that. Venus going into your 3rd house of Scorpio is just bringing a little bit more depth when it comes to being more sociable in your immediate environment, maybe connecting with people who are just that focus on a lot more darker things, or just that's just kind of how you're going to be experiencing connectiveness. You're going to want that intimacy when it comes to connecting with people in your immediate environment, neighbors, close friendships, just people around your little area, your town, or something like that. You might be attracted to like education, or just communicating other, like just little things like that, or just like writing projects, devices, anything like that. It's more of a depth to it. Let's see, and that is about it. All right. All right, Pluto's going into your 4th house, back into your 4th house of Capricorn for you Libras, and we're finalizing anything to do with your foundation, to do with like family matters, your maternal instincts, how you're holding your foundation or building this home-like kind of vibe for you. A lot of changes have been being transformed since 2008 for you Libras at this point. But yeah, there's going to be a finalization of what's going on in this area of life for you when it comes to home-based matters. Uranus is going to retrograde in your 8th house, so a lot of change going on when it comes to shared resources, inheritance, inheriting more money, resources, anything you're just inheriting. It's going to feel more liberated at this point, having all that kind of stuff. Maybe paying off more debt. If you're paying off more debts, that could really help. Any psychological or transformative, like intimacy or the occult or just taboo topics and stuff like that. Kind of focusing, shifting all this stuff, making it more feel liberated and stuff like that. And then Mars will go into your 10th house of Cancer. Mars going into your 10th house is going to feel, and on top of it, Mars going into Cancer is going to feel uncomfortable as it is. Mars going into your 10th house is going to give you more of a, energy to try to accomplish more stuff in your public life, try to achieve more stuff in your career or just out in the public. You might have this passive aggressive or this inner, feeling of like, should I do this? Should I not do this? It's going to feel a little uncomfortable, but you might have to step out of your comfort zone to do anything that you want to achieve. Then Mercury goes into your 12th house of Virgo, and it's back in a dignified position for you. So it's in your 12th house. This is behind the scenes. This is focusing on, hidden things, just maybe more spiritual stuff, all that, anything like that. Excuse me. This is going to be you're going to be focusing on just like more isolation, you know, trying just maybe staying away from like maybe people, or just trying to recharge your batteries of who you are. It's a time of just ending. You know, everything's in your 12th house. About like once everything gets into your, you know, first house of Libra, that's gonna be the time to like really, you know, set the tone a little bit higher of the energy going, you know, giving you more energy to do what you want. And then let's see, then we got this full moon in Pisces happening in your 6th house. So this is going to be the first of many of eclipses in your 6th house. This is going to be 12th and 6th house for you. So this is about 6th house is about your work, your workspace, co-workers, physical illnesses, healing, these type of things, healing in general, you know, routines, wellnesses. You're going to be focusing all this stuff. It's going to be very massively changed for you over the next couple of years, so pay attention to what happens. Then everything goes into Libra, and like I just mentioned, Mercury and the Sun are in your sign of Libra, your 1st house. You're going to feel a little bit more energized. You know, yes, the South Node is in your 1st house. It's been kind of giving you a more of a lowering your energy, kind of like dissolving yourself in a way. But once that's gone, you're going to feel a little bit better, much better. So it's okay. You got a little bit more time left for that. Venus going into your 2nd house of Scorpio is just bringing more depth. It's a very, you know, depth, whatever, deepening of what you are valuing. You know, maybe you're wanting to spend a little bit more, wanting to have more possessions in your resources and stuff like that, finances and stuff. So yeah, you're going to be attracting a lot more stuff. This could be either you know, attracting more money, attracting more just like resources, possessions, stuff like that. And another thing, just like Mercury and the Sun going into your 1st house is just going to make you feel more, present a more peaceful harmony, personality and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I got for you guys. All right, for Scorpios, all right, so Pluto's going back into your 3rd house of Capricorn. So this is going to just finalize anything that's been going on since 2008 for you. 3rd house is about communication, education, you know, siblings, short-term travels, your immediate environment, writing projects, you know, dealing with devices, relatives, your commune on what you usually do, maybe going to work or just running errands and stuff like that. This is just transforming your social life in general. Then Uranus will station retrograde in your 7th house of relationships in the sign of Taurus. So these relationships are, you know, Uranus is trying to liberate these relationships for you and make you, you know, feel more liberated when it comes to connecting with other people, or just, you know, just business contracts, commitments, stuff like that. Supporting other people, it's just a normal thing, not the biggest deal. Then Mars will go into, well, actually, I think I forgot to talk about the new moon in Virgo for the last one, but whatever. It's just a new moon. New moon in Virgo, new intentions, blah, blah, blah. This is in 11th house, so, yeah, you know, setting new intentions when it comes to friendships, group-based matters, you know, opportunities, just stuff like that, stuff to do with communities. And then Mars will go into your 9th house of Cancer, and Mars in Cancer is not the best position, and so it's going to feel a little uncomfortable. Mars going into your 9th house could have you really, you know, fighting against your beliefs and what you are, what you like, your worldview and stuff like that. You could be having this direction of like wanting to travel far, but kind of having this uncomfortable feeling because Mars is in Cancer, and it's very like, do I need to do this? Do I need to do this? Like, I kind of want to do this, but I'm not really sure. But you might have to step out of your comfort zone if you want to travel or learn about any like higher education and stuff like that. Maybe wanting to go to school, but you're not feeling too comfortable to do it, but you end up doing it anyways. Dealing with any legal matters might feel very uncomfortable, but might be necessary. You're going to be dealing with this for quite some time. So then Mercury will go into Virgo, into your 11th house. You know, Mercury's more dignified in this area of life for you, focusing on friendships, group-based matters, earning anything from your career that you've been maybe working on over the past month, You're really kind of maybe seeing the results of what this Mercury retrograde has been kind of going back and forth over. So working with colleagues, working with like, people who share common aspirations or dreams with you could really help you, any life goals that you really want to do at this point. Then we have the full moon in Pisces, which is in your 5th house. So this is the first of many eclipses in your 5th house for you Scorpios. This is going to just bring, major change when it comes to romance, the way you're expressing your self-creative side. When it comes to children, it's going to be shifted. If you're maybe even planning on having children or whatever, this could probably be the, time to, that could actually happen. It's going to be a very fertile time eventually over the period of next couple years when these eclipses happen in your 5th house. You're going to be just, focusing on your passions and stuff like that. A lot of things are really changing at this point for you guys. And then everything goes into Libra. The Sun and Mercury goes into Libra, and then Venus enters your 1st house. So Sun and Mercury go into your 12th house of Libra, just focusing on kind of staying hidden, isolated, behind the scenes and stuff like that. You're gonna probably want to. This is the ending of a cycle, though. Once everything gets into Scorpio, you're gonna feel a little bit more better, have a little bit more energy and stuff like that. But this is just focusing on maybe spiritual things, stuff to do with like mental health, trying to heal your mental side, trying to heal any addictions. The South Node has been in here, trying to probably heal any addictions for you, so be careful if there has been any of that going on. Venus going into your 1st house of Scorpio is just, providing a more depth to your, or a more darker, vibe in the way your personality, the way you're dressing and stuff like that. You could have a little bit more of a intimate kind of impression, or just very emotional kind of way of expressing or impressing other people. So that's kind of what I got for you guys. All right, going to Sagittarius. All right, so Sagittarius, Pluto's going back into your 2nd house of Capricorn, shifting and finalizing anything to do with your finances, personal resources, what your priorities, your possessions, your values, your work ethic, just your savings in general is probably been shifted in a huge way, and you've probably noticed that over the past 16 years. Pluto going into your 3rd house has opened new doors when it comes to like communication, interactions and stuff like that, siblings, probably all that stuff. Your social life has been opening up in new ways. But before we get there, there's some final things we need to take care of before we get there again. So your finances, your savings, your priorities, your values, everything is being finalized. It's transformed in the best possible way for you. Then Uranus will station retrograde in your 6th house of Taurus. So this is just, bringing more change in the way you are providing service, working in general. Maybe working with like coworkers or something like that, leases, your routines, physical illnesses, healing any physical illnesses, injuries, any of that stuff. Just normal, you've been dealing with this for quite some time. There's a new moon happening in your 10th house of Virgo, starting new stuff out when it comes to career-based matters, public life. Your reputation is being shifted, anything you are trying to achieve, stuff like that. And then, let's see, Mars will go into your 8th house of Cancer. Mars is going to be in an uncomfortable sign. It's in its sign of fall, so it's going to feel uncomfortable. And Mars going into your 8th house is going to probably feel a little bit more uncomfortable on top of it. Mars is going into a deeper sign, a more deeper way of like kind of dealing with relationships. There's going to be, your drive is going to be more of based on, maybe intimacy or, inheritance, or trying to use like other people's resources in order to either cut off debt or just use it just to inherit more resources or finances or something like that. That's possible, but yeah, it's going to feel uncomfortable. You might have to do things outside of your comfort zone when it comes to any like psychological transformation, intimacy, taboo topics, something like that. So finances, refinancing you might have to maybe, or just, yeah, something to do with that. And then Mercury will enter your 10th house of Virgo, shifting into a new sign. It's more dignified, being in the sign of Virgo. This is just focused on, more career, public themes that you have been dealing with. The sun has also been here, so it's just kind of like work-based matters, trying to structure your life in a way that's, be more responsible and structure your life in a way that makes you feel more responsible or something like that. Kind of building all that stuff. And then let's see, then it's the full moon Pisces. Okay, this is and then the full moon partial eclipse in Pisces. This is the first of many full moons in Pisces that you will be experiencing in this area of life, which is your 4th house. You're going to have 4th house and 10th house eclipses over the next couple of years, but this is the first one. So 4th house is about home matters, family, your maternal instincts. I've heard that, possibly you could be moving somewhere. That's a huge thing. Your intuition is going to be shifted in a way that's better for you to listen. Like your maternal instincts will be very valuable once you follow those instincts. Something to do with your lineage and stuff like that is being very shifted in massive ways for you. So pay attention to what goes on during that time. And then everything goes into Libra, your 11th house, and then Venus goes into your 12th house. So Sun and Mercury going into your 11th house is just focusing on, friends, you're, working with groups of people, trying to connect with people who share the same, dreams, aspirations as you, or life goals as well. It could be very, very, easy going, it's in an air sign, so it's very flowing for you. The South Node has been in here. It's been very, shifting the whole, the vibe when it comes to working with people. The North Node has been in your 5th house, having you, do things on your own or do more entrepreneurships. And I'm pretty sure most of you have been dealing with more entrepreneurships instead of working with other people. So that's a huge thing. Like your audience has just been shifted. You're going to be focusing on maybe connecting with your audience or just being more sociable out in the public. And then Venus goes into your 12th house, and that's kind of a more hidden vibe when it comes to what you're valuing, how you're expressing love, maybe being a little bit more secretive or hidden when it comes to, hidden things. Excuse me. Just being behind the scenes, just not really, kind of isolating the way you are expressing your love, or just doing, like I said, having more depth to it as well. Focusing on spirituality, hidden things will feel more valuable to you. All right, let's move on. All right, Capricorns. The big one's happening for you. Pluto's going back into your 1st house of Capricorn. So you are experiencing one last time of Pluto being in your sign, guys. So hold on for just 2.5 months. Pluto has a little bit of unfinished business when it comes to your personality, how you are expressing yourself to other people, impressions, changing your outlook, your approach to life and stuff like that. It's been like this since 2008. I'm sure most of you have been realizing a lot of heaviness and a lot of change when it comes to who you are. Maybe you're not really sure who you are, but this is the final straw of what, I'm going to change this, and this about who I am and how I present myself. That's the whole vibe for it. And then Pluto will end up going back into your 2nd house and staying there for 20 years. So you're almost done with all this stuff. New doors will opening when it comes to finances, wealth matters, savings, values, priorities. You'll see. Uranus stationing retrograde in your 5th house is just, bringing more change, trying to liberate your 5th house when it comes to, your creative side, anything to do with children, entrepreneurship, hobbies, playfulness, dating, romance, all that kind of stuff. And then Mars will go into your 7th house of Cancer. And that's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Mars in Cancer is in its sign of fall, so it's already in an uncomfortable spot. Mars going into your sign of the 7th house of Cancer could bring a little bit more challenges when it comes to other people, maybe a little bit more uncomfortable confrontations, maybe, or just anything to do with like business contracts. You might be, dealing with that. Might feel a little uncomfortable, but we'll get past this. It's going to be a long transit though. And then let's see, Mercury will go into your, well, actually we have a new moon happening in your ninth house before Mars gets into Cancer, actually. New moons, new intentions when it comes to, philosophies, higher education, legal matters, philosophies, traveling and stuff like that. And then Mercury will go into your ninth house, Virgo. Mercury's more dignified being in this sign. It's a very easygoing kind of vibe to it. Mercury's having Mercury here and it's following as well as the sun is just going to be focusing on, expanding your mind, learning more stuff. If you're going to school, that could be a good time to, study for anything. Or if you're just trying to travel and you want to learn like foreign things, that would be the perfect time to do this at this point. Let's see, anything, just a lot of just legal matters, focusing on just, just academic stuff, justice, receiving more wisdom when it comes to like just any foreign themes. Okay, and then we have the full moon eclipse in your third house of Pisces. So this is the first of many over the next couple years that you will be experiencing when it comes to these eclipses. Very big, massive change when it comes to the way you're communicating, your social life in general, siblings, education, interacting with people in your environment. Close friendships will be really transformed at this point. The way you're transporting like your vehicle and stuff like that could be a huge change when it comes to that stuff. And then everything goes into your 10th house. Sun and Mercury in your 10th house of Libra, and Venus is going into your 11th house. So Sun and Mercury going to your 10th house of Libra is just focusing on your career, your public life. You're wanting to achieve more, trying to bring more balance and harmony when it comes to your role out there in the world. And then Venus will end up going into your 11th house, and that is just going to bring more of a depth when it comes to wanting to receive more, resources, or even build your wealth that you have, or receive more wealth in your career that you have been working for. Have more intimate friendships, more intimacy when it comes to working with other people, group-based matters and stuff like that. So it's more of a relationship but career focus for you at this point. All right, Aquarius is, hold on. Okay. Pluto's going back into your 12th house of Capricorn for you, Aquarius is. So this is just one final finalization when, Pluto going into your 12th house. So 12th house is the behind the scenes stuff to do with like your subconscious, hidden realms, isolation, alienation, addictions and stuff like that. Your subconscious, your mental health and stuff like that. Trying to just, heal all this stuff, transform it before it finally comes back into your first house of Aquarius. And I'm sure Pluto going into your sign of Aquarius has really opened your mind, opened a new door of who you really are. And it's going to be a crazy 20 years for you, Aquarius, is just saying. Uranus going retrograde in your 4th house is just, bringing more liberation, more change when it comes to your home life, the foundation you have built yourself on. Your maternal instincts will change a little bit. It's just trying to liberate you. That's all it is. Bring a little bit more chaos when it comes to like family, a little bit of drama in your family, in your home life, but it's all right. Then you have a new moon in your 8th house in Virgo. Bringing more of intentions of basically inheritance, shared resources, psychological connections with other people, intimacy with other people, just deepening any intentions that you have in this area of life. Then Mars will go into your 6th house Mars likes to be in the 6th house. So I feel like you might have the best position for Mars going into this area of life for you, even though Mars is in a sign of fall, and it's going to feel very uncomfortable. But I feel like because Mars finds its joy in the 6th house, it might give you that level up, or it might ease that uncomfortability when it comes to, you know, anything you are doing. 6th house, work, health related matters, working out, working with coworkers, you know, your routines and stuff like that. These are going to be the themes over this period of time. And yes, it's going to be a long transit because Mars will go retrograde in this point for you later on. Then you'll have full moon. Actually, Mercury will go into your 8th house of Virgo before we get the full moon. And Mercury going into Virgo is just bringing more of a dignified, more focus, getting more deeper into any connections or relationships that you have at this point, just focusing on how you can inherit more resources, shared resources from other people, you know, finances, or maybe supporting other people with your finances of what they need from you. But psychological connections and stuff like that, you might be inheriting stuff or doing more dealings to inherit more stuff. And then we get to this full moon partial eclipse in Pisces, which is the first out of probably many over the next couple of years that you'll be experiencing in your 2nd house of your finances, your resources, your personal values and stuff like that, your priorities. What's, you know, all this stuff is going to be shifted, so you can see your finances change in a massive way over the next couple of years. And as well as having these eclipses in Virgo in your 8th house, other people's finances as well. Huge money dealings for you Aquariuses. Then everything goes into your 9th house. Hold on. Mercury in the Sun entering your sign of 9th house of Libra is just, you know, shifting the vibe of, like, you know, wanting to expand your horizons, you know, focusing on traveling and stuff like that. You have the South Node here. It's a very karmic time for traveling. Maybe it's been, you know, not as the best time to travel, but maybe, you know, it's a very karmic time when it comes to like traveling or just learning higher education based stuff, dealing with any legal matters. You're just going to be dealing with all this kind of stuff over the next month. Let's see, any religious based stuff, beliefs, philosophies, you know, that's just kind of like the whole vibe of it. Venus going into your 10th house is just basically, you know, bringing a more depth when it comes to like how you are being presented in your public life. You might want to receive more respect in your 10th house of like this public life in your career. You might be focusing on like more money based achievements of how you can attract all this stuff, but you might have to go after certain things to receive that those rewards and stuff like that. So that's what I got for you, Aquariuses. Last sign. All right, Pisces, this is for you. Save the best for last. All right, so Pluto's going back into your 11th house of Capricorn. And, you know, this is just finalization of, you know, what's been going on since 2008. 11th house is about friendships, you know, relationships through your friendships. Group-based matters, you know, your aspirations, opportunities, acquaintances, you know, community-based stuff like community service or just working for your community or just doing things out in the public that can really bring you into a certain group that basically group-related matters. So there's been a lot of transformations when it comes to, you know, your friendships, these groups that you've been working with, maybe the outcomes of these like financial rewards that you have been trying to work for in your career. You're going to be start to, you know, finalize these things. Excuse me. Before Pluto goes back into your 12th house of Aquarius. Uranus is stationing retrograde in your 3rd house, and that's just, you know, shifting the whole vibe, giving a little bit more of a, you know, liberation when it comes to, you know, your social life, how you're communicating, dealing with siblings, interacting with people in your in local neighborhood and stuff like that. your social life is just being a little bit transformed one last time. And then we'll have a new moon. You'll have a new moon in your 7th house, so just new moon, new intentions when it comes to, you know, relationships, how you're supporting other people, how you can commit to them, and any contracts or whatever that are just basically being, you know, refreshed at this point. And then Mars goes into your 5th house of Cancer. Mars in Cancer is not in the best position, so it's going to feel uncomfortable. Mars going into your 5th house will kind of give you that attractiveness or direction that you want to achieve, like entrepreneurship and stuff like that. But you might have to do, you know, if you want to do that stuff, you might have to go outside of your comfort zone in order to receive those rewards or those like creative finances that you want. Yeah, I mean, this could give you, you know, more of a inner, like, you could be feeding your inner child, or you could be very playful, or, you know, something like that with to deal with children. But there's going to be a little bit of a passive aggressiveness, so you want to watch out. If you are working with children, you don't want anything to happen. But basically anything to do with like fun, you know, passions and stuff, passion projects, stuff like that, your bucket list, you're gonna want to just kind of go after that stuff. And then Mercury goes into your 7th house of Virgo, and that's gonna, you know, bring a little bit more of a easier vibe of doing the Mercury things, but it's going into your 7th house, so this is just going to be communicating with other people, you know, connecting with other people more easily. Yeah, you know, just kind of just supporting other people, you know, making any contracts or just commitments a little bit more based on, you know, fairness, and just kind of just like, okay, you know, we need to do certain things in order to, you know, you need to support me, I need to support you by doing this, and that. It's just supporting commitments, not the biggest thing, but that's just kind of the vibe. Okay, and then we get to the full moon in Pisces, which is in your 1st house. So this is one of the first eclipses that will transform who you are over the next couple years. You have the North Node going into your 1st house over the next couple years, and you'll have these eclipses, you know, changing who you are. It's going to probably be a massive change. It's probably not going to feel easy, but this is going to be probably what's best for you. So yeah, 1st house, I mean, your character, appearance, your outlook on life, your approach to life, your attitude, just anything to do with who you are is going to be changed over the next few years, guys. And then everything changes. Oh, whoops. Hold on. I'm on hours. And then everything goes into your 8th house. Sun and Mercury go into your 8th house, just focusing on more deeper, more easy, balanced kind of relationships. You know, bringing more intimacy, or focusing on intimacy, or just focusing on, you know, how you can inherit, you know, resources, finances, or just any other things that can, you know, really help, you know, transform this area of life for you. A lot of psychological connections will be probably presented. You'll be focusing on those like taboo, hidden, you know, secretive things, you know, all that stuff, you know. So if you are trying to, you know, refinance anything at this point, this would probably be a good time to do it, or something like that. But yeah, and then Venus will go into your 9th house in Scorpio. She's not in the best position, but this is just kind of just like wanting to, you know, having this desire for like some foreign type of like relationships, maybe meeting somebody from like, you know, somebody from a foreign based, like somebody different outlook or different like culture or whatever, or something like that, or just anything to do with like higher education, philosophy, spirituality, you know, religion, stuff like that. Is just going to be, you're going to want to attract all that stuff. So that's kind of how that is going to present itself, and that is the whole month. So if you are still with me, thank you for, you know, joining me for this another episode. And that is September. September's a huge month, guys, so just, you know, take it easy. October is just going to be another, you know, big month for us too. So eclipse season is here. A lot of changes happening. So let's get through it one step at a time, okay? So if you are interested in the merch, the link will be in the description below. If you want to follow me on social, the link will be in the description below. So I will be seeing you guys in the next video. So take care.